This should be the number one news story on every major outlet today. I don't know why it's not. Because when I read this piece, this is from The Blaze, I was floored that this was going on. It doesn't surprise me that it's starting to happen, but where it's happening and who's doing it is what makes the biggest deal and what has got me just beside myself. I'm going to read for you the headline. It looks like another Chicago warehouse, but it's actually a secret black site where Americans are detained. And I thought to myself, wow, surely these are American terrorists that we brought back from some, from the far reaches of the globe, or certainly it's an American who has been picked up by the CIA and who's being held here because of his terrorist threats or his terrorist ties or an impending terrorist attack that was thwarted. Because a violation of your personal liberty, a violation of your rights is completely okay as long as we're doing it because you're a terrorist and you might commit a crime. That Americans would be totally comfortable with, or at least it would be because it was the CIA, and we all agree that the CIA should have the ability to do pretty much whatever they want to anyone they want to, whenever they want to do it to them, right?
It's for our safety.
If it's for your safety, I mean, Lindsey Graham, as we pointed out on this show time and time again, he said, well, look, if you've got nothing to hide, who cares if the government looks at everything that you do? You don't really need the Fourth Amendment as long as you've got nothing to hide. So the only people who would dare claim to be angry and upset because the government's snooping around or because the CIA is scooping up people in the middle of the night and taking them to secret black sites, or the fact that our president has authorized the bombing of U.S. citizens without a court trial overseas, that really only matters if you've got something to hide. There's no way that the American government would do that to the American people. Detain them in some sort of secret black site somewhere. There's no way someone would pick you up, say, on a DUI charge, or maybe you're drunken and disorderly, or maybe you made some posts on Twitter, or you might have alleged to want to create a violent attack against some sort of World Trade Organization event. That's not going to be licensed for some local police department to scoop you up in the middle of the night and take you to some black site in the city and deny you a right to counsel and deny you contact with the outside world. That'll never happen. This is what we hear people saying, right? That kind of stuff will never happen in America. Well, this looks like just another warehouse. I'm reading now from the piece. But the building located on Chicago's west side, known as Homan Square, is actually a secret black site operated by, wait for it, the Chicago Police Department. Local attorneys and a protester who spent nearly a day in the facility claimed Americans can be detained at this secret location without access to legal counsel for 12 to 24 hours. So they're picking these guys up. Now, the case that they use in this article is from a guy, Jacob Church, who was part of the NATO 3, who was accused of plotting to use Molotov cocktails, that's liquor set on fire, on local buildings during the summit, the NATO summit. So he didn't like NATO, and these guys were planning to throw fiery balls of liquor at the building. And somebody found out about it, and they picked these guys up, and they took this guy, Jacob Church, not to be locked up in a Chicago Police Department, not to go out to the county jail and be locked up there to await trial, to be able to make his phone call, to be able to seek counsel. No, they took him to the black site. And when you're reportedly, suspects are not booked when taken to the secret location, as they would be if they were arrested and taken to a local police station. But because of this, Chicago lawyer Julie Bartimus told The Guardian that it's an open secret among attorneys that regularly make police station visits that this place, if you can't find a client in the system, odds are they're here. So you've got the lawyers who deal with, criminals all day long saying, hey, if the parents are looking for this guy, and we can't find him, and he hasn't been picked up, and we know the cops took him, but we can't find out where he is because he hasn't been booked in anywhere in the city. We know to go to the black site because that's where they take people who they don't want to book into regular booking at a police station, where they can hold them for several days or for several hours or a day at this point. I don't know why it would be restricted to a day. Why can't you just hold them there indefinitely? In this particular case, they held him there for around 24 hours. They allegedly held Jacob Church cuffed to a pole for 17 hours while they decided what they were going to do with him. But think about this, guys. This isn't the CIA running a secret black site in the middle of nowhere where they can torture terrorists, because that would be okay. No issues with that at all, because it's for our safety. I'm, of course, being facetious, and in no way should you interpret my views as being my true belief. But this is happening on our soil. This is happening in Chicago, and not by the CIA, not by some federal government, by a local police department. Why is this not the major story? Why are there not reporters right now from MSNBC, from CNN, from Fox News camped outside this location, beating on the door, demanding to know what's going on inside there? Why isn't Rahm Emanuel being questioned right now?
Yeah, he's got this important election.
Well, yeah, he actually has to. He didn't get 50% of the votes, so he actually has to.
Might affect his campaign.
Face a competitor.
We don't want to talk about that.
But they call Rahm Emanuel the Godfather, in reference to, of course, the crookedness of his nature. And now, apparently, he's living up to the name, because inside of his city, they're keeping secret sites where they take people who've been arrested who they don't want to book. This goes back to what I'm constantly telling you. We're going to talk about net neutrality in a minute. And a lot of people are out there saying, oh, Jason, you're such an extremist. None of that stuff will ever happen. The government's not going to do that. They're not going to take away your internet. They're not going to they're not going to force people to have decency standards on the internet. That's stupid. You're such an idiot, taking things to their extreme. And yet there were plenty of people when this idea of CIA black sites came up who said, what's going to happen when they start a black site here? What's going to happen when they start rounding up American citizens and taking them to secret black sites? And people said, oh, you guys are such idiots. You're such extremists. That'll never happen in America. We have the Constitution. The people would rise up and revolt against that. There'd be armed conflict in the streets. That'll never happen. Well, it's happening right now in Chicago. And the media is silent on it. It's not even a headline.